Hello and welcome back for Game 2, where Golden Guardians will be facing off against Clutch Gaming. Let's go ahead and dive straight into the starting lineups on the blue side. It's the Golden Guardians with Lourlo in the top lane, Contractz in the jungle, Mickey at mid, Deftly at bottom, Matt on support, Coach Morissette, and strategic coach Ji-Yoon on stage to assist with translation.
And facing them on the red side today is going to be Clutch Gaming. In the top lane, Solo. In the jungle, LirA. Mid lane, Febiven. Bot and support going to be Apollo and Hakuho, with Coach McScrag and strategic coach Baby Zeus.
Now, both of these teams, Ezreal, have been put in a daunting position here today. You have a choice. Defeat the team you're tied with, or be locked out of playoffs here and now.
Yeah, I mean, for both teams, the second half of the split has been brutal. Clutch 1-5 in the second round robin. Golden Guardians 0-6. So both these teams started off pretty well, but they have struggled hard.
And from an individual perspective, you as a player are also looking for a job next year if you're on one of these squads, and you've got to make a statement here.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, these guys are fighting for their starting spots, right? You can't expect that you're going to go winless in the second half and everyone's going to keep their job, right? Both these teams have already replaced coaches. Players' jobs are going to be on the line here as well.
Failure catalyzes change, and if you don't want that catalyst to sweep you away, you've got to make sure that you're not one of the reasons that people look to when they question, why did things fall apart here?
Yeah, you want to be that bright spot, and you also still want to show that you can be a team player, that you can play for the team. Do not become a KDA player just because the season is kind of on that precipice. But either way, there is still a mathematical possibility that you can make it in playoffs. If you win out, and some of the teams that you need to lose out, then you have a shot of getting in. But it's going to be a tough one for either team. But it is a point of pride, especially for Golden Guardians. You don't want to put up a donut in the second half. Just
absolutely not.
No wins would not be a good look.
We'll see if they can find the win here today against Clutch. Taking a look at the bans, it's Tahm Kench, Gangplank, and that newly reworked Akali banned out by the Golden Guardians. Clutch Gaming will remove Aatrox and Zoe from the pool with one ban still left to go, and they'll put that one into Kindred.
And Nocturne available, so that it would be a pretty big priority pick. We have seen Contractz play that in the past, and that is what I would expect them to go with. They are going to lock that in.
Pretty easy first pick, I think.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's not up very often, but when it is usually grabbed up immediately.
And your opponents don't have Kindred to pick into it. A lot of times I feel like when we do see the Nocturne, you'll see
kind of
the other side just for fun. Yeah, you take Nocturne, all right, we'll take Kindred. Sure enough, we'll trade it off, it's fine. But with the Kindred banned out by Clutch, they don't have the ability to respond with that. Instead, they'll pick up the Braum for themselves. And it looks like the Trundle they're also thinking about there for the jungle. Might switch over to the Lee Sin instead. All right, forget it. We're just going to hover over quite a few different things.
Yeah, it could be Trundle. It's interesting because I think if you're picking Trundle, then you're kind of assuming that Lourlo or someone is going to play a tank that is going to be juicy to ult. I don't really think that the Nocturne into Trundle matchup is particularly good for the side of the Trundle in that actual 1v1, especially if the Nocturne is going for lethal tempo. You really can have some very strong dueling power there against the Trundle. But Trundle is always a solid pick. It is always a stable pick. It's going to have teamfight utility and dissuades your opponents from being able to go towards those tanks.
Golden Guardians now. What are you going to go for here? Xayah locked in already. Rakan, a very likely teammate to go along with her. Turns out when two champions have hardwired bonus synergies with each other, they're a pretty good duo.
They really are. I mean, Rakan is just insane, even on his own. When paired up with Xayah, looking very, very good. Ezreal, perhaps, the lock-in here. I was expecting more of a Varus, honestly. Varus Braum has been such a popular kind of duo there in the bottom lane. Would make some sense to actually secure yourself a very powerful bottom lane to deal with that Xayah Rakan. You don't want to be getting bullied. I feel like when you go the Ezreal, you're accepting your last time you saw an Ezreal winning the lane in the LCS. At one point, it had lost 13 straight games, and then you're just accepting, okay, we're going to play from behind, right? And that is a reasonable option, but we'll see, because they also are taking into consideration that if you go for something like a Varus, you are very vulnerable to the Nocturne. So, there's a lot of kind of things that are being taken into consideration.
And especially with Nocturne, it's one of those champions that either flies into the back, deletes someone instantly, and you're just running around thinking, how do we keep our AD carry alive? Or if you can stop that instant burst, what do you have? You have a squishy ghost in the middle of your team, and all of a sudden everybody's got a Ghostbuster backpack on, just ready to get rid of him.
Yeah, you turn from something terrifying into someone running with a bedsheet over there.
Yeah, it's like,
not so scary anymore.
What are you doing?
Embarrassing yourself. Stop it.
Well, LeBlanc, Ryze, and Syndra are all going to be banned away during the second phase of the bans. It is mid-lane hunting season for both of these teams as they take everything out of the pool. Dr. Mundo will be the final ban here. Golden Guardians wanting to keep that one away from Solo.
Yeah, I think the final ban makes a lot of sense if you're expecting Solo to be the one who is blind picked here. Then Mundo is fantastic blind pick. Clutch traditionally have been going more for the last pick for Febiven and trying to get him the preferential matchup. They could mix that up, of course, and looks like they will now. Orianna coming through. This is very much a focus on team fight. This is very much a focus so far on 5v5. We'll see if the pick from Solo does change that up. If Gnar is locked in here for Lourlo, certainly not any amazing targets for the Trundle to be ultimating, but we're gonna have to find out. And you know, if he does go for that Gnar, really the only counters are ones where you play very aggressively into it. Things like Camille can answer that. Things like Jace. I actually think Quinn is a very good matchup into Gnar. Yorick is another very, very good matchup into Gnar. But again, these are things that are risky and you have to play aggressively. And this is a situation in which we have seen North American teams time and time again, and they're like, okay, well, we have last pick, but I guess I'm just playing Ornn and losing the lane, you know, and that would be disappointing to see Clutch go for that.
Especially if you've already drafted Ezreal in the bottom lane to say, all right, we'll just play this and lose the lane. You don't want to take 2 out of 3 of your lanes.
Lose, like, you know, Orianna is not a dominant laner, right? So if they do go for a tank here, but if you go for a tank here, I think you're drafting 3 losing lanes from the side of Clutch, and then you're basically saying, well, I sure hope we can get to late game and beat you there, and we're going to find out if that is the option. Wouldn't be surprised to see Cho'Gath or something, but this I like much more.
There we go.
This gives you an avenue of attack. Right now you are playing an aggressive side lane matchup, which can get ahead. You can bring in the Trundle. You can actually, if you time it right, pillar the Gnar out of his jump. If you successfully do that, you can also hookshot off of the Trundle pillar and use that to actually set up your stun, so the Gnar doesn't have to be near the wall anymore to be getting hit with that hookshot stun. So these are some nice combos. I think that is the clear focus of attack there for Clutch. They need to be going top lane because I don't think you can really get too much done against some of these other lanes, but we'll see if they're going to be able to pull it off.
At the same time, man, if you're Clutch Gaming and you're bottom lane, and you're looking at the clock, and the Nocturne and the Taliyah are level 6, you better brace yourself.
It's dive o'clock in the bot lane.
There are going to be some bad, bad things heading your way. Taliyah and Nocturne is just that recipe for everybody going to one place and turning it into a party.
Yeah, and the tough thing is, in that situation, if your team is not there to back you up, the best option becomes, all right, we'll just back off. But then if you just back off, you're giving up the turret to a 4-man push, right? And that is tough, but you have to say, all right, we drafted around this. We are expected to maybe lose on the bottom side of the map, but if Camille slams top, if we can, you know, get advantages up there, if Orianna can scale up, our team fight in the 5v5 is going to be very powerful. So that is really what Clutch is looking for, and that has been the name of the game for them throughout most of the season. Go late, depend on their scaling, try to take over there.
All right, we're loading into Summoner's Rift for the second time today. Remember, this is do or die. You lose this, you can't go to playoffs. Your postseason is done. And Golden Guardians say, hey, if it's all about making an impact in the big games, making it count, why not rock 4 out of 5 of the Samsung Galaxy skins from last year's World Champs? All they're missing is the jungler, but Contractz honestly came about as close as he could with the color synergy. He's got the spooky Nocturne
and they stole the Ezreal. That was the Ezreal jungle.
Ah! Clutch Gaming stopping the full 5.
Oh, he doesn't have the Samsung. He could. That would have been funny. It would have been the traitor in
the
there.
betrayer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Golden Guardians waiting down here, though. They know that the Ezreal's going to fire some Mystic shots into that Tri-Brush, so they'll just place their own ward down there and just wait.
I like this strategy, though, from Golden Guardians. So, like, if we pick all the World Championship skins, they can't be bad, right?
The World Champions.
These guys were the best in the world. It had to be about the champions.
This comp works.
We're looking good. We're feeling good.
Let's see if they can make it happen, though. This is a team that we've praised previously for innovating and doing better this season than they did, or doing better, it's seemingly this split, than they did last split, especially during the first round robin, right? We talked about how the second round robin's been a little bit rough for this squad, but when you look at that first round robin, they went 5-4.
Yeah, I mean, they were actually doing quite well, and Clutch looking for an invade here. But definitely an extremely disappointing second half when you take in consideration how good the first half was. Clutch, I think they just want the red buff. They're going to go in 4-man here. I think they're confident in their level 1. Braum gives you such a big advantage in those level 1 fights, but Golden Guardians could just try to stick around and poke them off with this Taliyah. It looks like that is going to be the option for now, definitely even coming back. So who gets this is actually a really big deal. If Trundle gets a smite, he can level Pillar and go for a kill.
Matt goes in, finds a knock-up onto LirA. Ignite also going to be thrown down to force him away. The red buff resetting, and LirA being only at 200 HP. This is going to turn pretty sketchy. We have gone into quite a fight at level 1 here so far, Ezreal, and it's not stopping anytime soon. The top laners are actually playing League of Legends. Everyone else is doing a weird mini game
to turn this into a scrim is the top laners have to TP down. If the top laner is TP, this is officially a scrim.
All right, it's still going. Mickey's at 200 HP. Everybody's still sticking around.
LirA went mid lane to push. He's coming back to the red buff. Let's go, baby.
LirA, as the jungler, has decided to leave the jungle and lane, while Mickey is trying to still hang out here in the jungle. Matt jumps himself away, exhaust down onto him.
Reset!
The monster again loses its patience as Mickey's going to be taken low. LirA has to hobble himself away from this one. Hakuho below 100 HP. Contractz wants the damage, but they found it anyway through Deftly. Matt now taken down to 100 as well.
No.
It's 3 kills for the Golden Guardians. It's 3 minutes into the game and they finally left the red buff. It's still alive.
You really hate to see it. This is where you're like, we can restart, right? We can do that again? Redo? Anyone?
Remake.
Yeah, definitely gonna get first blood. Gonna get another kill here as well. Flashes forward. 1 kill. He's gonna take down LirA as well. Apollo also going down. I mean, this is about as bad as it gets, Flower.
1 2 Golden Guardian.
Solo's just up in the top side. He's like, guys, you okay down there? What's happening?
What is going? This is where, as the top laner, you throw some question mark pings down into the enemy jungle and just go back to laning and hope for the best.
Guys, I'm winning lane. What's happening?
All right, well, top lane is pretty fine. Top lane is super neutral compared to everything else that we've seen so far in this game, just 3 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, you love the buys here in the bottom lane. Apollo's like, all right, I'm going to get a mana crystal. It definitely has 2 long swords, so that's feeling nice.
A mana crystal and a Dorian shield, which is 0 damage put together. I think I've got the math right on that one.
True.
Versus the Xayah for Deftly. Dorian's blade gives 8, the long swords each give 10.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's going to be hitting pretty hard with those feathers. Mickey in the mid lane, though. Going to get himself away from this pillar. Does still have a flash available. Doesn't even need to use it, though. Will take a little bit of extra damage from the ball there at the end, but he's just fine.
All right, so everything calming down a little bit. We can kind of take stock of the situation.
I would hope so.
It is just still, 500-600 gold lead, so it's not as extreme as you may have expected coming out of that. And Clutch still certainly are going to have their opportunities. Obviously, a huge advantage now on the bottom side of the map, and you would expect Deftly and Matt to be able to win this lane pretty heavily when I think they already have a 2v2 advantage.
Yeah.
And now that they were kind of gifted the 2 kills down there. But for now, the advantage has not really kind of paid out. And Contractz is up here looking for solo.
Can he find this Camille? Level 3 on Contractz. Lourlo now going back into the mini Gnar form as well. Contractz popping a spell shield there just to make sure Solo doesn't try to turn that around on him. I like that from Contractz, considering when you are 2 levels under the opponent that you're ganking, you've really got to be aware of how well they can turn it around. But yeah, he doesn't really get anything for that game.
Yeah, not much of anything. Just putting a little bit of pressure on. It's not a bad try, but a Solo had it warded out, does get out of there. The one thing it will give Lourlo is preferential base time, right? Because this is not a Tiamat Camille. He can't push you in very fast. He's not going to be able to kill the wave fast enough, so he can set up a freeze, but then that means, they're going to kind of trade their TPs. In this case, he is going to have to be staying around for now, and Lourlo gets that early buy.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll try to shove this in.
The Ninja Tabby, the classic response to being able to kite that opponent around, make it so that the Camille can't land those stuns on top of you, be able to chase you down very effectively. Yeah. It'll make it so Lourlo can continue just farming up, poking, and harassing in this lane. Yeah,
and it's going to be really good against LirA too, right? If Trundle shows up, a lot of his damage in that early game is physical. A lot of it is auto-attack based, so going to be effective there. And since Solo hasn't been able to go back to base yet, has no items, there's not really any point of LirA trying to gank that. They're not going to have the damage to actually burst down, full HP Ninja Tabby Gnar this early on in the game.
You can see here in the mid lane, nice little CS lead for Febiven very early on, 32 compared to 24, but Mickey's just doing whatever he can. He's taking this slow. You think of Taliyah, you think of some of the old days back when the Q had AoE on it, and she would just shove everybody in constantly, but Mickey is content just playing patiently, passively underneath his turret for now, farming things up, as LirA decides to go after the Drake here on the Trundle. He is one of the champions that can be very effective at doing this by himself and doing it early.
Yeah, definitely can look to slow that down. If you get an early Ocean, it is so good for a lot of these laners. I mean, Ezreal sitting back, not going to be running out of mana. Solo going to be harder and harder to poke out from Lourlo, giving him more all-in opportunities, and Orianna is going to love that as well. So despite the early 3 kills there for Golden Guardians, it is the Dragon going the way of Clutch. They are ahead in farm in some regards, and that is going to really kind of help them out here. We can see, though, Contractz trying to get behind Febiven. They're looking for a kill mid.
Nice ulti there onto Mickey. Febiven looking to find the solo kill here. Needs a little bit more damage and can't quite find it. Contractz will be cut off there by LirA, who turns this into an honest 2v2. Nobody falling from either side, but that's both summoner spells down for both mid laners.
Yeah, big trade of spells there. Febiven hitting that shockwave, trying to get something, and Solo now going to be jumped on here.
Lourlo finds some damage, but it's kind of what you see from Gnar early on when he's just in this lane. He knows he's on an island. The Mega Gnar will just be thrown out whenever he finds the angle for an extra trade, and not really anything too special about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a smart play from Lourlo, right? Because when you're looking at Camille, Camille is trying to all-in you when you're in mini form. That's essentially the opportunity where you're trying to go for that all-in. But if you keep Camille low, if you get those good Mega Gnars out, then you know she can't actually look for the all-in. She can't look for that fight, even when Mega does expire there. So smart stuff from Lourlo. We'll see how he is able to handle that lane going forward. But Solo, so far, is up a couple farm and scaling up fairly well. And the game is honestly normalized quite a bit and is fairly even.
It's hard to imagine where we were just 5 minutes ago, Xayah. Good times back at the red buff, but it has turned into a pretty standard matchup so far after all that craziness. And Deftly and Matt will continue looking for that farm here in the bottom lane. Deftly level 6 now.
And look at all the protection that they have around this bottom lane. 4 pink wards for Clutch on the bottom side of the map. That is to kind of spot out Contractz, who should be hitting level 6 around this time. He is level 6 now, so they're trying to be cognizant of that. You can see that Apollo tried to go for the Sheen for a little bit more laning power, delaying that tier, because those 2 kills went over to his opponent.
Contractz into the mid lane now with the ulti. Tries to go underneath the turret for it. Nearly dies, barely gets out of the aggro range in time.
Yeah, Febiven handling that very easily. Contractz pushing pretty hard for it, going very, very deep, and the damage follow-up was not in position for Mickey. Mickey, if he's not in range, he can't do anything to actually make that a kill, and Contractz doesn't have enough damage on his own, so he expends the ultimate, has to blow the flash. Febiven handles that very, very easily.
And I think it was you that I was having these conversations with in the office a couple weeks back about Nocturne being one of those kinds of champions in the same category as something like Skarner is, because that's the champion I equate everything to, is the first ultimate just feels so important. If that turns into a kill, you feel like you're on par with where you need to be in the game. Your tempo is as it should be, and you're not falling behind. But if that first ulti is a whiff, man, it feels bad. I think he's going to be knocked up into the air, and there comes your kill. LirA takes a bite out of him.
Yeah, Mickey actually starting to really fall behind in this lane. Febiven getting quite a bit up in farm, going to be able to push this in. No TP available for Mickey. He has not had the pushing advantage, has never been able to get out of the lane and actually look for an ult to a side lane. So Clutch, despite the early missteps, really are starting to kind of pull ahead. They're actually up in gold now, 10 minutes in. Contract's not going to have much pressure for the next couple of minutes. And to talk about what you were talking about with the Nocturne a little bit more, one of the reasons it feels so important to make that first ultimate hit is that you have very little avenues to pressure your opponents besides that ultimate, right? So you feel like, all right, if I can't get this kill, when do I get the next kill, right? Like, when do I actually make something happen? And Nocturne is a champion that does get outscaled. When you get to those late game team fights, it's very hard to have that effectiveness if you are not ahead. So you really only get so many opportunities to make that happen.
I mean, if you look at what he's going to be diving on as this game goes further in, let's take a look at his top lane here real quick. Instead, Seismic Shove comes out. Nice flash away from Solo there, avoiding the 3-man collapse. But yeah, as Contractz, your job is to dive either onto an Orianna, which will be able to protect herself with her own shield, her shockwave, as well as likely a Zhonya's Hourglass as the game goes on, or an Ezreal, who's going to have a Braum right next to him and who can arcane shift away from him.
Yeah, and he might even be building armor, right? Like, he could actually just go for that. Here's the shockwave combo.
Oh, Contractz just deleted up there. Too far forward.
Yeah, I mean, Febiven obviously wasn't there for the initial play, but then he pushed out the wave. He roams up the top side. Contractz is still there. Gets another kill for them. Solo getting that credit too. Things definitely looking good for Clutch as they're able to make their punches stick.
4 kills happen in the first 3 minutes of the game. Then in the next 9 minutes of the game, we get 2 more kills, but they both go over to Clutch Gaming, who now enjoy a 700 gold lead for themselves, and they just don't seem phased. And honestly, that's something that I think is really important for one of these teams, like we were talking about, that has had such a rough streak lately, to keep their cool and make these fights work out. But can they make this one work out? Apollo wants to go over the wall, does find his way to the blast cone. Hakuho now has to somehow find his escape. Glacial Fissure going to be thrown out there. Apollo still over the wall, shooting out those mystic shots, providing covering fire, and there you go. They keep their cool, they make the escape, and they don't have to give up any of their lives, as Contractz is once again going to be making a visit here into the top side. Solo looks to fight back, but it will not be enough this time as Golden Guardians find their 4th kill.
Yeah, they're finally able to get that kill, but nicely handled. The pressure on the bottom side, Apollo and Hakuho survive there. Mid lane, they knock down a turret. Golden Guardians able to trade one back on the top side, so nicely done for them, shutting down Solo a bit, but they're not able to cash out on the turret and, do lose more across the map.
LirA getting up there just in time to make sure he can collect some of that gold, and as you said, very importantly, keep the turret alive. Even though it's only standing at a little bit of HP, that's not gold given over just yet. Let's take another look at the Contractz gank here.
Yeah, Lourlo going in, nice flash ultimate, does get the stun, and there's no flash available on Solo because of the last 3-man play topside, so really no way out for him once he actually gets hit by the stun. Nocturne can follow up easy peasy, so Golden Guardians getting something going on the top side, and you do see a pretty significant farm advantage for Lourlo up in the top, thanks in part to the pressure up there, but Febiven enjoying an even bigger advantage for now in the mid lane, and that is really going to be impactful.
Talking about advantages as well, I want to look at the Golden Guardians bottom lane right now as Clutch Gaming will send 4 people down to this Earth Drake, but look at Deftly's items. He's got the Stormrazor up on the Xayah right now. Patch 8.15, excuse me, did do quite a bit to buff some of the 80 carry itemization timings to make them less costly, bring them online sooner. Stormrazor also got cheaper.
400 gold cheaper.
That 1 item power spike is here much earlier for Deftly, and especially when you compare it to an Ezreal who doesn't have as much combat power, considering he's got a Sheen, he's got a Mana Moon that's still stacking up. Deftly could be a big difference in these fights if he gets involved.
Yeah, he really could, and especially when you hit that 2-item mark, I always feel like Xayah could be very, very strong at that point, but for now, Clutch is pushing in, and they are the ones pressuring this turret. And you can see that Nocturne and Taliyah were kind of cheating down on the bottom side, but not going to be able to make anything happen. I think that Mickey may have actually been spotted by the Ezreal. I think it might have hit him there, which could have tipped him off. I'm not positive on that, as it was just looking at the map.
If you get out of this bottom lane, if you take your opponent's turret, I'm going to one-up that even a little bit. Take your opponent's turret as Ezreal Braum versus Xayah Rakan when they have Nocturne and Taliyah, and you don't get 4-manned.
And they started with first blood and a second kill, right? Like, they started 2 kills up. They started with all the cards.
That is a phenomenal outcome for this laning phase for Clutch Gaming.
Yeah, it really would be. And I'd like to see Apollo. I think this is an Iceborne Gauntlet type game. I think you just do go for some of the armor. You grab that, you grab tabbies, and I think Mickey is not going to have a lot of access towards the backline. The people that are likely going to be hitting you is Gnar, is Xayah, is this Nocturne, and that is all physical. So I think that could be a pretty strong build to go for. Mickey trying to get back to the bottom lane. They're trying to prevent this turret from going down. Clutch slowly but surely are pressuring, though.
Remember, Mickey is only level 9 on this Taliyah. There's a level 11 Gnar in the game, level 11 Camille. The mid laner's not quite that high up yet, which means the Weaver's Wall doesn't quite have the reach to go all the way into the lane.
They missed actually a couple waves, from that starting shenanigans around the red buff. So
I think that's the perfect word.
Oh, here they go into the bot lane. Nocturne ulting in.
See if they can find the damage here. Heal comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Deftly goes on a killing spree, taking down Apollo.
Yeah, nicely done. Contractz able to make back-to-back ultimates work, so the Golden Guardians getting things going on the bottom side. But will be responded to. Rift Herald already taken, going to be dropped here by LirA. Should be a turret trade. We'll see if Golden Guardians can knock one down on the bot side. Likely can.
Almost definitely they'll be able to take this down. Plenty of power there in the items at 16 minutes into the game. Top side, Shelly will facilitate that as well.
For a second, I thought you were pulling a freak and saying definitely.
Absolutely not.
I was like, wow.
No. There are some places that we don't go.
There's lines you can't cross.
Everybody's got their line in the sand, and that one's mine. We don't go over to that other part of the beach. Solo and LirA, though, they've decided they're going to go for tier 2 turret here in the top side, and they honestly take it really, really easily. We'll see if Shelly gets off another charge here into the top lane. Doesn't look like it. She gets a little bit sidetracked with minions there. Bonked on the head. Rip Shelly. But considering she got 2 turrets, I'd say she did her job.
Yeah, really good job. Anytime you get 1, you're like, okay, that was worth the investment of getting that. Anytime you get 2, I think that is really above and beyond. For Shelly, putting in the overtime. And Solo has a lot of gold to base with. He is going to be very quickly on that Triforce, and that is where things can get tough. Here is the play one more time down to the bottom side. Really nice engage there from Matt, catching both. And you know, the shift had to be used basically before the Nocturne ult came through, which means there's no kind of way out there for Apollo, but he does have the Iceborne down. We'll see if he goes towards Tabbies. They did knock down the turret in the eventual 2v2, so still I would say Clutch has been successful on the bottom side of the map. When you take in consideration the draft, when you take in consideration 2 kills that Deftly started with, Apollo and Hakuho I think can be pretty happy with how it all turned out.
Clutch doing a good job just in controlling the objectives of this game in general. We saw them use the Rift Herald. They've got 2 out of 2 Drakes so far, 4 turrets compared to 1. Globally, that's a 7-to-1 objective count, which means they've just been controlling things well. I mean, Golden Guardians, for a team that has the roaming potential of a Nocturne, of a Taliyah, they just haven't controlled much at all.
Yeah, they really haven't. And I mean, a lot of that is thanks in part to Febiven, who is up, you know, a lot of farm, who has this early Ludens completed. He has kept Mickey pushed under his turret so much that anytime Mickey wants to roam, he's going to lose something for it, right? You know, he's being punished anytime he actually steps out of that lane. So Febiven has done a very good job with that. Lourlo will knock down that top lane turret. You know, a lot of pressure did go from Golden Guardians up towards Solo. You know, Nocturne ultimate, a couple 3-man plays up there. Solo does have the Triforce completed though, and this is a little bit of a scary time in the 1v1 for Lourlo.
Clutch Gaming moving into the enemy jungle, setting down some vision. Now you can see, even as Matt tries to walk in and put down some of his own, he's met by members of Clutch Gaming. He is forced back. Apollo finds a Mystic shot there onto Mickey, who will just fall back, try to keep himself alive for now. Clutch Gaming won't be able to find anything else to push down here for the time being, but I don't know where's the collapse. Matt and Deftly thinking about it. Mickey goes on a ride over the Weaver's wall. What can they find here, though? Seismic Shove, not going to hit the mark just yet. Glacial Fissure now down onto Mickey. They're looking to turn this one around back onto Hakuho. The charm comes through. Damage down now onto Apollo, stuck in the fleeing animation. Can't get himself away just yet. Does survive. Contractz falls to him. Mickey also going to be taken down here as Matt gets bit to death, and he's got no way out. Definitely now having to run away along with Lourlo. He's trying to kite this one out, but the point blank stun from Solo manages to lock him up just a little bit here. Clutch Gaming will not be able to find anyone else, but it's still going to be 3 for 1.
And they can go straight to this Infernal, so a big ticket dragon does come up. They don't want to chase forward into this Mega Gnar, allowing for a potential turnaround, but Golden Guardians likewise cannot actually come out on the map and contest this dragon 2v4 without vision. So it will be another dragon going the way of Clutch. That is their 3rd straight. They also got the Rift. They have been controlling all these neutral objectives, really getting ahead in that regard.
3rd Elemental Drake, plus it's Infernal. You got the whole garage sale there in terms of those objectives, and it feels good for Clutch Gaming. Let's take another look at how they made this team fight work.
Yeah, here it is one more time. Apollo has that Iceborne, so some armor in the bag to keep him a little bit safer against Contractz. Mickey going in, it is a little bit disjointed. He's in pretty early compared to when Contractz and Matt are. And Matt, you know, is going actually forward on the ultimate for the Braum. Does connect with the charm eventually on Ezreal, though. That is changed into that Nocturne fear, but Febiven shows up. LirA collapses on the Nocturne, and they do keep Apollo just barely safe. And then Solo comes in with the TP. Lourlo is not Mega, so the Camille is going to be more impactful on the initial TP.
Damage in the last team fight. You can see a lot being done by Mickey there. Nearly 2,200 on the Taliyah. Honestly, not much damage in that fight there from Apollo or Febiven. We did see Apollo just honestly running for his life for most of it, just trying to stay alive.
And Febiven was roaming down, so he didn't really have that much involvement in it.
Right.
But either way, Clutch going to be really happy with the game state. They are up 3K. They have 3 dragons to 0. They have knocked down additional turrets. They are going to have side lane priority.
Taking a look at the items too here, I want to point out that we have the stopwatch still available for Febiven, so I will keep eyes on him to see if he can use that for a good bait, make somebody stick around just a little bit too long, make Golden Guardians overinvest, or even just put Contractz in a really bad spot. Because Contractz, 1, 3, and 4 on the Nocturne, he has been a part of 5 out of 6 of the kills, but considering he's also half of his team's deaths, not exactly where he wants to be so far, especially on a champion like the Nocturne that we know, as you already mentioned, is going to get outscaled. You're not just this big tanky meatball that runs in and throws down some CC and is always relevant.
Yeah, it does definitely get tough in those later stages, but he has at least been pretty effective with his ultimates after that first one. He really didn't get anything from that, but able to execute on those next couple ultimates, getting a couple kills for the team. Definitely keeping fairly proactive, but LirA has done a good job. He's been in the right place at the right time on this Trundle, often able to answer a lot of those plays. Even if he wasn't there to counter gank Contractz ultimate, he's taking an objective. He's getting a tower. He's always doing something back, and that is really what you want to do as the later game jungler.
Baron is now available. Clutch Gaming will clear out a little bit of vision in that top part of the river. You can see they've got wards down in the enemy jungle here as well, but you can say the same thing for Golden Guardians, who've got some wards down on the Clutch side of the map, which is honestly a little bit unusual, considering they're not the ones with the tempo here in this game, but Clutch Gaming have decided to go after the Baron here for themselves. Golden Guardians just now dropping that blue ward onto it. That means Clutch is going to decide to head home. See how the fight breaks out here as Solo's looking to force the fight down onto Contractz. Nearly bursts him out. True Shot Barrage not going to find the mark just yet. Weaver's Wall will be coming in. Does come up a little bit short there. Mickey does not want to take that one into the team by any means.
Yeah, Contractz with a really nice Shroud of Darkness. That Spell Shield actually blocked Solo's ultimate, so that keeps him alive there, but he is pushed out. They know he's back to base, so Clutch straight on the Baron.
Contractz hurt. That means there's no chance for a 50-50 just yet. TP going to be used, though. Golden Guardians want to stop this one. Clutch says we're going for it. We're looking to secure this. LirA does get the smite. And now they'll look to see if they can maybe turn things around. LirA knocked up into the air. Not going to be taken down just yet.
Contractz almost in range.
Him alive. Contractz may want to ult here, but again, you got to be careful. It's 5 members strong from Clutch Gaming. You can't just run in there alone, and they won't go for it. Baron over to Clutch.
Yeah, really well done to get the Baron. They get out. Clutch in full control of this game. Now they have the side lane pressure with the Camille. They have the Baron buff to actually help that out here too. So Clutch is going to be in such a strong position. Really have kind of gotten through most of the weak parts of the game, and now you're going to be able to force Golden Guardians to come to you. You're going to be able to force them to engage and take these 5-man fights because that Baron buff becomes so difficult to wave clear against.
The Muramana fully evolved. Most of the Blade of the Ruined King completed for Apollo as well, becoming very, very strong here on this Ezreal. We'll see exactly how Clutch can execute with this Baron so far. Like you said, Camille in the side lane is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Febiven also getting the bottom lane shoved out here just to make sure they've got as much pressure as possible. A little bit over 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. They've still got 2 tier 2 turrets to take, and when you have Baron like this, when you have this amount of a lead, it's pretty easy to force those down and just sort of take them by force.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you can see that they're trying to push in all 3 lanes, Baron buffing it up, but LirA may be caught.
That's not really the guy you want to look to catch, though. It's very, very hard to really even try to burst him down. Didn't even have to use the Subjugate to get himself out of that one. Ultimate still available means Clutch Gaming is ready for a fight if Golden Guardians look to take it. Or are they damaged down onto the front line and LirA is eliminated instantly? Matt going to keep the carries away as Hakuho also nearly taken out now. Lourlo wants to find some more control onto those carries now potentially as Hakuho goes into the stopwatch. Apollo buying time on this one. It's 2 dead on the side of Clutch, but it's all about making sure Solo can get that inhibitor. It looks like a win for Golden Guardians. If you're counting the players alive, it is, but the amount of pressure that they have means Inhib goes down top.
Yeah, Febiven and Apollo cannot be caught there. Febiven still held onto the shockwave, so making it very hard to engage into him. Golden Guardians trying to collapse, trying to get a pick here, but Febiven and Apollo playing this pretty safe. And it is Solo who knocks down the inhibitor, turret. They still have a minute on that Baron as well.
Febiven and Apollo just doing such a good job staying alive on these carries. As we'll see if they can get this next Drake for themselves free and clear. It shouldn't be any sort of an issue. Solo will just continue being annoying there in the mid lane, standing close enough to power up those minions until rotating over to make sure he facilitates his team also getting this Drake. And if this game goes long enough, this could be a 5 elemental Drake game for Clutch Gaming as we take another look at how LirA got caught here.
Yeah, they jump on LirA, but it was a really good early stone play from him, actually negating a lot of that seismic shove damage coming through from Mickey. He's the one who actually ends up forcing Matt to flash out, but Golden Guardian says, we have 5 men here. They are splitting. We need to engage. I think it is a fairly good engage. Contractz goes forward. Matt actually ends up charming up all 4 members in the eventual play. Yeah. So really good recon play from him. But it's Apollo and Febiven just kiting backwards. Good ball placement here from Febiven. That Iceborne from Apollo slowing them up, allowing him to kite this out, playing it slowly, made it too hard for Golden Guardians to actually collapse and finish off those last members. Means Solo gets the inhibitor top.
And the chain CC there onto LirA was so effectively done, he never got to use Subjugate. He died with the ultimate still available, likely thinking, okay, I'll pop it on whoever I need to make sure we burst them down, but unfortunately for him, it was not done fast enough. Clutch Gaming still enjoying that 5,000 gold lead, clearing vision through the enemy jungle, pushing up once more. This team fighting so desperately to stay alive. Remember what's on the line here. Whichever team loses this, your playoff aspirations end here. Solo will continue pushing up onto the tier 2, takes that one pretty effortlessly. And there you go, all the tier 2s now down, Ezreal. The next objective for Clutch is that base of Golden Guardians.
And you have to remember, for Golden Guardians, they would then be 0-7 in the second half. Only 2 games remaining to pick up a final win here. And Clutch is tied with them for last place. This is supposed to be, one of those games that is winnable. And Golden Guardians were given 3 kills to start the game. They had the advantages at the outstart, but it's been Clutch through a lot of, I think, superior laning that has really gained edges for themselves where you wouldn't have expected it. You don't expect a Braum Ezreal to be beating a Xayah Rakan who starts with 2 kills. You don't expect Febiven to be so far ahead in the farm in that 1v1.
Superior laning and just shutting down opponent win conditions. Like you already praised LirA for being in the right place at the right time, it's so much more apparent and it's so much more important up against the roaming potential. I've said it before, I'm saying it again right now. Nocturne and Taliyah, in a game where you see this comp executed exactly the way that it was drafted for, these two are roaming together as a duo, they're making things happen bottom, they're taking objectives, they're securing things for the team, and it just wasn't a possibility this time around for the Golden Guardians.
Nice shockwave!
Shockwave onto 2, Contractz can be removed from this fight almost instantly, but Apollo is deleted and Deftly goes unstoppable.
Yeah, really nice seismic shove there, it looked like from Mickey, I think, catching Apollo, so him and Deftly just pop Apollo after Febiven had a beautiful shockwave to start things off. Golden Guardians buy themselves some time with that kill. They will push Clutch back to base, so nice stuff around the base there from Mickey and Deftly getting themselves a kill. Let's see it one more time. We'll see if that was in fact that seismic shove, but if Febiven catches a couple of them here with the shockwave, the spell shield I think maybe got broken by the Q or the W there. I'm not actually positive, but spell shield did get broken from Contractz. He gets caught there, and Apollo just gets absolutely lit up and bursts down.
Yeah, the Acer Predator replay really showing off exactly how a good fight can sometimes go bad. Even if that shockwave starts things off on the right foot, if the follow-up isn't quite there, if you just get a little overzealous with that positioning on the Ezreal, the punish is very real. And that also showcases, Ezreal, Golden Guardians, despite being down, are not out of this game. If you give Deftly some firing time, he'll put up the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just what I was going to talk about. Clutch obviously are in full control of this game, but you still have a 5-kill Xayah on the other team with a completed IE, sitting on those 3 full items. This guy's going to put out some monstrous damage, and they have the setup, right? They have good engage with the Rakan, with the Nocturne. If Gnar can actually, connect and get some of those big ultimates, certainly there is the potential for Deftly to be able to knock down all those Clutch Gaming members and turn this game around.
And I also really like Executioner's calling against Trundle, against Camille with Ravenous Hydra. The healing stoppage is just so huge. I will never stop pointing this out. I will never stop praising players for doing this, because if your opponents are healing and you're not building grievous wounds, you goofed. You messed up. You bonked yourself.
You definitely did, man. I mean, it's 800 gold for something that is effectively thousands of damage, potentially, in a team fight, right? Trundle's ultimate is huge. Here they go, though, trying to get Solo.
See if Solo can outplay this one, but 5 versus 1 is not normally a situation you've got the ability to outplay, but he will buy as much time as he can there with the stopwatch, saying, okay, team, it's 5 on me. Go for the Baron if you can't. TP gonna be used here. They want to come into the pit. They want to stop this one. Nice job from Hakuho, stopping Mickey early from the wall. Red team's able to find the Baron. And they get out. Trying to get himself away now. Clutch Gaming have to try to get out with this one. Contractz with a good spell shield to block up the shockwave. Apollo having to get himself out now too. Blade of the Ruined King buying the extra time, getting him the extra speed. Febiven gets himself out of the way of the fear tether. Hakuho's the sacrificial lamb for that one, but it's still going to be a one-for-one trade. Apollo looking to stay alive. Lourlo still trying to chase him down, able to find the wallop. But LirA will find the kill onto him. Will be picked up now by the Guardian Angel, as Golden Guardians will look for yet another kill here. Stoneplate going to be used. LirA trying to buy even more time. Pillar thrown out, keeping himself away here. Matt tanks up the turret. They can't go any further. It's Baron over to Clutch Gaming, but they lose 3-4.
Yeah, and the full play, they kill off Solo. It is 3-for-1. They get the Baron. This is your Acer Predator replay. Clutch Gaming decide to make the call to commit to the play. They know that the jungler is not going to be there in time. They get the smite from LirA, a really good smite from him, and they are able to finish it off. But again, the bites break out on the top side.
This time it's Golden Guardians who may have overstayed their welcome. A nice uppercut kick from Solo makes sure that Lourlo's not getting himself out of this one. And Matt will shortly join him, a double kill for the top laner.
Yeah, nicely done there. Solo is getting so strong on this Camille. 3 items already completed. He is well on his way to having that GA there as well. So that is looking good for them. The 5th dragon that you had spoken about earlier is on the map, but I think with 2 members down, they just want to pressure the base. They have the Baron buff still. They are looking to knock down at least 2 inhibitors here. Siege up mid, have Camille on that open and hip top, and I think Clutch has a really good shot. Kind of put last nails in the coffin.
They're still far enough ahead that you can always take the Drake in the open ground afterwards. When you don't have this man advantage, these 15 seconds are so important to take that double inhib, which they'll do now just ever so effortlessly. Golden Guardians can do nothing but stand and wait for those objectives to fall, and now Clutch Gaming heads out. Now there's nothing else to do. All right, we'll pick up the Lizard on our way out.
Yep, they're going to get that 5th dragon. Here it is one more time. Up on the top side, Matt and Lourlo, really slow bases. They wanted to try to push that up all the way, but Solo TP's in. He has the home guards. Going to be able to find himself a couple of easy kills here. Nicely done from him.
Greed is a deadly sin, Ezreal. Golden Guardians learned that one the hard way.
Of which we are both guilty. I've seen us both play League of Legends.
We have both definitely greeted out for it before. No one is innocent here. But bottom lane, we'll see if Clutch Gaming can now secure themselves the final inhibitor. It is such a difficult position to defend from for Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians looking for the engage from the bush, though. They need something to work. They did back off as we get vision of that, but it has to be a great engage. They cannot sit back. If you sit back, the super minions will crush you out.
You have no time.
You will lose the 3rd inhibitor. The game will end. Their only chance is hard engage on one side or the other immediately and try to stop Clutch from getting this triple inhib.
The minions themselves are just going to destroy the turret, and now Clutch can force the fight without that extra structure, without that extra damage. The inhibitor itself under fire. If Golden Guardians let this one go, it's going to be so hard to come back now. Febiven going to be jumped on. Contractz is going to find the damage. Man with a big charm onto multiple people as LirA goes into the front line. Look at his zone. The Guardians away. The root comes through. The feathers fly out. Deftly's keeping himself alive for now. Still has ulti ready to go. Tries to run down Apollo, but can't quite find just enough damage. Solo wants to go in, and he's found the killing spree onto Matt, as Contractz will be number 2. LirA grabs that kill, and there's 2 dead on the side of the Golden Guardians, 5 alive for Clutch Gaming. Golden Guardians will do everything they can to hold these Nexus turrets, but it's not going to be enough. Clutch Gaming will cut them down. Solo goes into Resurrection. Guardian Angel doing his job on that one. Clutch continues looking for the push, continues looking for the win. The turrets are out of the way. The Nexus is taken low, and Clutch Gaming find the win.
And they're going to keep their playoff hopes alive. Flowers, they're moving one step closer to that potential playoff berth. They are still going to need some help from some friends or some enemies, however you want to look at it, but they are still alive. And with that, Golden Guardians are now knocked out of playoffs. Clutch, you have to give them a lot of credit from that game. The level 1 was insane. They gave up 3 kills, 2 of them, including the first blood, onto the Xayah Rakan lane on that marksman. You would expect the game to fall apart from there, but they played so damn well. They were stable, they were strong, their laning really carried them through a lot of this game.
And you're talking about bottom lane too, but it was that top lane, the lane that we were so happy to see them draft, the aggressive lane, the counterpick with the Camille being able to play aggressively. That was the lane that lost its tier 2 turret first. Solo seemed like he was constantly in charge of that side lane situation. And then when both those side lanes win, well, Febiven can't just allow them to have all the fun. He has to go up 30 CS in the mid lane, nearly solo kill Mickey, and just completely shut down Taliyah's roam potential. Clutch showed that on an individual level, they could outplay Golden Guardians this game, and they deserved the win for that alone.
Yeah, really the case. And I also do think that they deserve some credit from that draft. You know, we've talked so much about counter picks. It's been such a big focus over these last couple weeks, and they were able to go for the Camille, not just kind of handshaking into a losing matchup into the Gnar. I think if you do grab a tank there and you're losing on the top side of the map, then the game looks very different. But Solo always had pressure on the map. When the 4-man squad was getting engaged on the bot side, he gets the inhibitor. He's always kind of creating that pressure, and you know, you always have that side lane threat. So definitely a lot of credit deserved by Clutch for this game.
And we're giving Clutch a lot of praise. We're saying, man, Clutch had everything together, but there was one big point in the game, Ezreal. There was one point where Clutch didn't quite have things together. Let's take it back to level 1.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to kind of unpack here. This was like a 3-minute fight at level 1 where, you know, LirA is even in mid at this point. This is like a minute into the fight. This has already been going on for a while. LirA walks over to mid, pushes that wave in a bit, then he's coming back down. And Clutch, you know, had been kind of getting poked out, had been getting the lower end of the HP. You can see that Deftly had actually gone back to lane. He now returns back to this fight, and LirA flashing forward does not have enough damage to go for the kill. And Deftly flanking on the level 1 Xayah, flashes in, gets Hakuho, gets LirA. They do trade back 1 kill, but it is 3 for 1. It is 2 kills, including the first blood, onto the Xayah. And in most games, you would look at that and you would say, all right, that's the game, right?
You go next.
If that's a scrim, I think they actually just say, okay, remake, right? You know, Golden Guardians won because they started 3-1. It looked so bad. 2 kills on a winning bottom lane. Didn't pan out at all.
There's just, I think the thing that defined that level 1 so much for me is the fact that the jungler of all people said, this is stupid, I'm going to a lane.
But then he came back.
And then he was like, wait, they're still doing it.
Solidarity.
Go back. It's like, don't worry, boys, I'm here with you. It was a crazy level 1.
Yeah.
It was a win that Clutch had to find, and they found it. We're stepping away for now, but when we return, TSM, load onto the Rift versus 100 Thieves. You won't want to miss this one. Don't y'all go anywhere.
Sam, you're using Samsung skin, right? All right, we got 4 of them.
All right, let's make good use of our windows.
Samsung.
Contractz wants the damage, but they found it anyway through Deftly. Matt now taken down to 100 as well.
No.
It's 3 kills for the Golden Guardians.
I'm just gonna kill this guy.
We can fight now. I'm coming.
No,
I have ability still.
Okay.
I have ability still.
3 seconds on jump. 3 seconds on jump.
Febiven gets himself out of the way of the fear tether. Hakuho's the sacrificial lamb for that one, but it's still going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Apollo looking to stay alive. Lourlo still trying to chase him down, able to find the wallop. Continues looking for the push, continues looking for the win. The turrets are out of the way, the Nexus is taken low, and Clutch Gaming find the win.
The sub above difference is daily, not shredded last night or baked yesterday afternoon. Good ingredients, prepped fresh every day. Because that's what daily means. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.